I want you to imagine a scenario. You work hard for an entire month. You wake up early, you deal with traffic, you deal with a boss you don't like, and you trade 160 hours of your life for a paycheck. You take that paycheck, you cash it out in $100 bills, and you walk over to your fireplace. You light a match, and you watch it burn. You watch the corners turn black. You watch the faces of Benjamin Franklin curl up into ash. You watch 160 hours of your life vanish in smoke. Does that sound insane? Does that make you feel sick to your stomach? Good. It should. But here is the terrifying reality that nobody wants to admit. If you are keeping your money in a traditional savings account right now, you are doing the exact same thing. You just can't see the flames. We have been lied to. For 50 years, we have been brainwashed by our parents, our teachers, and especially the banks, to believe one fundamental rule of money: save it. Keep it safe. Put it in the bank. I am here to tell you that in the year 2026, being a saver is the fastest, most guaranteed way to become poor. While you sleep tonight, your money is being eaten alive. There is an invisible enemy in your bank account that is stealing the value of your labor every single second of every single day. And the bank? They aren't protecting you. They are the ones handing the enemy the knife. In this video, I am going to expose this savings scam. I am going to break down the terrifying math of what is actually happening to your money right now. I am going to show you why the safe option is actually financial suicide. And most importantly, I am going to give you the exact step-by-step roadmap to get your money out of the fire and into the engines of real wealth. My name is Ryan, and if you are ready to stop losing and start owning, then smash that subscribe button, because we are about to burn the rulebook. First, we need to understand why you do it. Why do you leave thousands of dollars sitting in a checking account that pays 0% interest? Why do you hoard cash in a savings account that pays pennies? It isn't because you are stupid. It is because you were indoctrinated. From the time you were 5 years old, you were given a piggy bank. You were taught that putting a coin in the pig was good. You were taught that spending the coin was bad. Then you grew up. You opened your first bank account. You got a debit card. And the world reinforced the message: cash is king. Save for a rainy day. This advice made sense in 1980. In 1980, you could put money in a savings account and earn 10% interest. You could literally get rich just by leaving your money in the bank. But the world has changed. The rules of the game have been rewritten, but nobody sent you the memo. Today, the bank is not your partner. The bank is a business. And like any business, their goal is to buy low and sell high. And what is the product they are buying? Your money. They buy your money from you by paying you 0.01% interest. And then they sell that same money to your neighbor in the form of a credit card at 25% interest. They are making a 2,000% profit margin on your labor. And what do you get? You get a free calendar at Christmas and the feeling of safety. But that safety is an illusion. Because while the bank is using your money to get rich, something else is destroying it. Let's talk about the enemy. The silent thief. Inflation. You hear this word on the news every day. Inflation is up. Inflation is down. The politicians throw numbers around like 3% or 4%. They make it sound like a small tax, a minor inconvenience. They are lying to you. The official inflation number, the CPI, is a manipulated statistic. It is designed to make the economy look stable. It doesn't track the things that actually matter to your survival. It doesn't accurately track the cost of a home. It doesn't accurately track the cost of quality food. If you want to know the real inflation rate, don't look at the news. Look at your grocery receipt. In 2020, a full cart of groceries cost $100. Today, that same cart costs $140. That is not 3% inflation. That is a 40% destruction of your wealth in 5 years. Let that sink in. If you had $10,000 sitting in a safe bank account in 2020, today, that money can only buy $6,000 worth of stuff. The number on the screen is the same. It still says $10,000. But the value? The power of that money? It has been hollowed out. It is like a termite infestation. The house looks fine on the outside, but inside, the wood is turning to dust. One day, you lean on the wall, and the whole thing collapses. This is what I call the purchasing power trap. You think you are saving money, but you are actually locking in a guaranteed loss. If you save money in a standard bank account, you are losing 4% to 7% of your purchasing power every single year. Imagine if I told you to invest in a stock that was guaranteed to drop 7% every year, forever. Would you buy it? Would you put your life savings into it? Of course not. You would call me a scam artist. But that is exactly what you are doing when you leave your money in a traditional savings account. You are investing in a guaranteed loser. But it gets worse. Money is not just paper. Money is stored time. When you work for a week to earn $1,000, that money represents 40 hours of your life. It is 40 hours you will never get back. You traded your time, your energy, and your freedom for that paper. So when inflation destroys 10% of your money, it isn't just stealing your cash. It is stealing your life. If you have $50,000 in the bank and inflation eats $5,000 of its value this year, that is 2 months of work that just vanished. You worked those months for free. You were a slave for those months, and you didn't even know it. This is why I say saving in a bank is financial suicide. You are voluntarily entering a time machine that moves you backwards. While the wealthy are using their money to buy assets that grow, the savers are standing on a treadmill that is moving backwards faster than they can run. You work harder. You save more. You cut coupons. You skip the latte. And at the end of the year, you are poorer than when you started. Why? Because you are trying to fill a bucket that has a massive hole in the bottom. And who punched that hole? The Federal Reserve, the government, the banks. They print money to pay for their mistakes. And every dollar they print dilutes the value of the dollars you saved. You are playing a game where the referee is cheating against you. And the only way to win is to stop playing their game. Now, I know what you were thinking. I can hear the objection screaming in your head right now. But Ryan, I need that money. What if I lose my job? What if my car breaks down? I need liquidity. I agree. You need liquidity. I am not telling you to have $0. I am not telling you to be reckless. You need a checking buffer. You need exactly 1 month of expenses in your main checking account, so your auto-pay bills never bounce. And you need an emergency fund. You need 3 to 6 months of expenses in case the world falls apart. But here is the million-dollar question. Where does that emergency fund live? If it lives in a Standard Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo savings account, you are a sucker. You are paying a laziness tax. You are paying for the convenience of having your savings account right next to your checking account on your app. Is that convenience worth losing hundreds of dollars a year? Is it worth losing your future? There is a concept in economics called opportunity cost. It means the price of what you could have done with your money. Every dollar sitting in a 0.01% account is a dollar that could be earning 5%. It is a dollar that could be doubling in the stock market. When you leave money in the bank, you aren't just earning zero. You are paying the opportunity cost. You are paying the bank to hold your money. Think about a storage unit. You put your old furniture in a storage unit, and you pay the company $100 a month to keep it there. The furniture doesn't grow. It just gathers dust. A bank account is a storage unit for money. But instead of charging you a monthly fee, they charge you in lost growth. It is hidden. It is silent. But it is expensive. So, how do we stop the bleeding? How do we fire the bank and become our own bank? We have to stop playing defense and start playing offense. Step 1 is the shield. We need to protect your liquid cash, your emergency fund, from the fire of inflation. We do this by moving every single penny of your savings out of your big bank and into a high-yield savings account, HYSA. This is the easiest money hack on the planet, yet 70% of Americans are too lazy to do it. What is a high-yield savings account? It is a bank account, usually from an online bank like Ally, SoFi, or Marcus. Because they don't have brick-and-mortar branches on every street corner, they don't have the overhead costs. They don't have to pay for rent, electricity, and tellers. So, they pass those savings on to you. Instead of paying you 0.01% interest, they pay you 4%, 4.5%, or even 5%. Let's look at the math, because numbers don't lie. If you have $20,000 in an emergency fund, in a regular bank, after 1 year, you will earn roughly $9. $9. That is a McDonald's meal. In a high-yield savings account at 5%, after 1 year, you will earn $1,000. It is the same $20,000. It is just as safe, FDIC insured. It is just as liquid. You can transfer it in 1 to 2 days. But simply by clicking a few buttons and moving the money, you gave yourself a $991 raise. Imagine if your boss offered you a $1,000 bonus just to switch which desk you sit at. Would you do it? Of course you would. You would do it in a heartbeat. That is what an HYSA is. It is free money on the table. If you are watching this video and you still have your savings in a 0.01% account, pause the video. Open a new tab. Set up an HYSA right now. You are literally burning money every second you wait. But here is the catch. The shield is not enough. A high-yield savings account is great. It matches inflation. It keeps you from losing value. But it won't make you rich. You cannot save your way to wealth. You can only invest your way to wealth. To get rich, you have to move from being a lender, saving money in the bank, to being an owner. You see, when inflation happens, prices go up. The price of milk goes up. The price of diapers goes up. The price of gas goes up. If you are a consumer with cash, this destroys you. But who benefits when prices go up? The companies selling the milk. The companies selling the gas. The companies owning the real estate. When prices rise, their profits rise. When profits rise, their stock price rises. So, if you want to win the game of inflation, you cannot hold the paper money. You must hold the assets that the money buys. You need to own the S&P 500. You need to own real estate. This is where your long-term money belongs. Any money that you do not need for the next 5 years should never, ever touch a savings account. Not even a high-yield one. It belongs in the market. Let me explain the rule of 72. This is the magic number of wealth. If you divide the number 72 by your interest rate, it tells you how many years it takes for your money to double. In a regular bank account, 0.1%, your money doubles every 720 years. You will be dead, your children will be dead, and your grandchildren will be dead before that money doubles. In the stock market, average 10% return, your money doubles every 7.2 years. Look at the difference. 720 years versus 7 years. This is why the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. The poor are waiting 700 years for a return that the rich get in 7. You don't need to be a genius to win this game. You just need to be in the right vehicle. You are trying to win a Formula 1 race riding a bicycle. It doesn't matter how hard you pedal. You are going to lose. Get off the bike. Get in the car. Put your money in the market. I can feel your hesitation through the screen. I know what you are whispering to yourself right now. But Ryan, the market is risky. What if it crashes? What if I lose it all? The bank is safe. This is the biggest lie of all. The definition of risk. What is safer? Option A, an asset that goes up and down, but historically has gone up by 10,000% over the last 30 years? Or option B, an asset that goes in a straight line, but is guaranteed to lose 50% of its value over the next 20 years due to inflation? The bank account feels safe because the number doesn't change. You open the app, and it says $10,000. You feel good. But that is a false sense of security. It is like a house that is slowly sinking into the mud. It feels stable because it's moving slowly, but eventually, it is going to disappear. The stock market feels scary because it moves fast. It drops 10% one day. It goes up 5% the next. But that volatility is the price of admission for wealth. If you cannot handle the volatility, you are doomed to the certainty of poverty. You have to change your mindset. You have to stop looking at price and start looking at value. When the market crashes, you aren't losing money, unless you sell. When the market crashes, stocks are on sale. That is when you should be buying more, not running away. The bank is a guaranteed slow death for your financial future. The market is a bumpy road to freedom. Choose your heart. So, let's land this plane. We have talked about the problem, the math, and the solution. Now, I want to give you the specific, tactical protocol to execute today. This is the anti-bank system. Step 1, the audit. Log into your bank account right now. Look at the number in your checking and savings. Calculate exactly what your monthly expenses are. Rent, food, bills. Keep exactly 1 month of expenses in your checking account. This is your operating capital. Every single dollar above that amount. Move it out. Step 2, the shield. Open a high-yield savings account, HYSA. Ally, Marcus, SoFi, Wealthfront. I don't care which one. Just pick one that pays over 4%. Calculate your 3 to 6-month emergency fund. Transfer that amount into the HYSA. This is your fortress. It is safe, liquid, and it fights inflation. Step 3, the sword. Every single dollar left over, it goes into a brokerage account, Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab. And you don't just let it sit there. You buy a low-cost index fund like VO or VTI. You buy the S&P 500. You become an owner of the American economy. And then you wait. You let the rule of 72 work its magic. You let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Step 4. The automation. You set this up to happen automatically every single payday. You don't think about it. You don't use willpower. You build a machine that moves the money for you. When you do this, you unplug yourself from the matrix. You stop being a battery for the bank. You stop letting them use your labor to make record profits. You take control of your capital. And for the first time in your life, your money starts working harder than you do. Now, knowing where to put your money is only half the battle. If you have to manually log into your bank, calculate the percentages, and transfer the cash every single time you get paid, you are going to fail. You will get busy, you will forget, or you will spend it. You need to turn this entire process into a machine that runs automatically while you sleep. I broke down the exact step-by-step automation system and the specific 15-minute protocol I use every time money hits my account in this video right here. Click right here to build your machine. Stop losing money, start automating freedom, and I'll see you there.